Yay! Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, I'm muting you all now.
We are Viking Student Media.
Good morning, Vikings. Welcome back to VNN. I'm Miko Johnson.
And I'm Christina Rhodes, and we're here to bring you the news you need to know,
Want to know,
and should know to get you through the rest of your week. Puyallup Renaissance is on the search for unique talents here in the PHS family. Do you have or know of someone that has a talent that should be recognized? Artists, musicians, singers, entertainers, or even unique athletes who play sports not done through the school? You name it. We might just do a story on them. Please head to Schoology to take the poll on your homepage.
seniors, the PHS Local Scholarship Packet is now available. Through the generosity of many individuals as well as civic and professional organizations in Puyallup and Pierce County, a number of seniors are able to further their education on a more solid financial foundation. Please look over the booklet for scholarship application directions. There are thousands of dollars available to PHS students. Deadline to submit your application is Friday, March 12th at noon. No late applications will be accepted.
HOSA will be hosting a blood drive on Friday, February 26th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Appointments will be scheduled in 18-minute intervals to accommodate social distancing procedures. Students will complete a COVID screening. Students under the age of 18 will need to fill out a permission form and bring it with them at the time of their appointment. Please visit the link below to sign up.
This month is Black History Month, and to help celebrate, here's another video from the Black Student Union made by history teacher Mr. Walker.
My name is Mr. Walker, for those that don't know me. In my segment of Black History Month, I'm looking at, normally I would do a biography, but this time I decided to do something a little bit different. And what I looked at was the idea of the misconception of Malcolm X. And what I mean by that is most people that know about the civil rights movement in the 1960s and know about prominent Black leaders of the 1960s normally think of two different people. They think of Martin Luther King and others think of Malcolm X. It's normally the two that you're taught about. Well, most people, when they look at Malcolm X, they believe that this whole philosophy of his, by any means necessary, is what he believed his whole life, that it was his whole philosophy. But what most people don't understand is that Malcolm X, later on in his life, began to slowly change his philosophy. And there was a couple of reasons for it. Early on in his life, when he was going through problems and going through issues, dealing with white America as things were happening, dealing with race issues, dealing with the KKK as his life was going forward and as he was getting older, he joined what they called the Nation of Islam, which is a group of Black Muslims that studied and practiced Islam. But it was a radical view led by a guy named Louis Farrakhan, who basically took Malcolm X under his wing. And with Farrakhan, Malcolm X learned a more radical version of Islam. However, he would slowly, later on in his life, start making changes. And one of the reasons he made a change is he had a falling out with members of the Nation of Islam and with Farrakhan, the leader. He had some issues with it, so he slowly broke away. And when he left the Nation of Islam, he started meeting other individuals in the civil rights movement and other groups that looked at unifying. Instead of being radical and saying by any means necessary, meaning if whites kill us, blacks will kill whites. If you hurt us, we will hurt you. If you destroy our communities, we'll destroy your communities. That is a very radicalized view of Malcolm X. And once again, most people don't realize that as he moved later on in his life and as he left the Nation of Islam, there were a couple things that happened that made him change his philosophy. And one of those was the meeting of this man here, Martin Luther King. And as most people know, Martin Luther King was always seen as the icon of the civil rights movement because the way in which he felt Blacks needed to look at civil rights is in the way that we have to learn to unify. We have to get along. We have to get along with everyone. You can't be radical. You can't fight. Peace is the best way. Whereas most people saw Malcolm X as the other guy that says, you know what, violence for violence. Well, at this meeting with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, when they met each other, they slowly started looking at the idea that maybe Martin Luther King, or Malcolm X started looking at the idea that maybe Martin Luther King is right. Maybe there's something to this.
Thank you, Mr. Walker and the Black Student Union, for that great lesson.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of VNN, and we'll see you next week.
Stay purple, Vikes!